Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity beeby dow. I'm singing in the rain. Just singing in the...
Are we starting?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't see that this microphone was here recording us. Welcome to another episode of Brews and Tunes, a weekly podcast in which we talk about two of our favorite things in one place. Brews
and Tunes.
Correct. My name is Steven Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Titus.
So welcome back. This is the 5th episode that we have ever recorded. Ever.
Yes, it is. And this week... Of course, we're going to be talking about two different albums.
And we're going to be drinking two different beers.
Yes, two new beers.
So the album that I have listened to for this past, not going to lie, we took at least 2 weeks for this break.
Right,
not
just
longer.
For the Christmas.
For the Christmas break,
season.
yeah. Even though by the time you hear this, it'll probably be way past Christmas. We like to do that.
That's true.
Sorry. And also, the album that I listened to was Hazards of Love by the Decemberists, which is a very dense, long, and in-depth album, so I needed some extra time to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. And the album that I'm going to be listening to is an album called Joyride by Transit.
Which is the opposite of long, dense, and in-depth.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But let's get to the music later.
Yeah.
What is the second part of this... Something in tunes? What is that other part?
Brews.
Oh, yes. I thought it was shoes for a second. And in fact, I'm not wearing shoes.
Neither am I.
So I suppose it only makes sense that...
And it's not shoes and tunes.
Yeah. So let us delve into the brews portion of Brews and Tunes. Okay. What are you drinking this week, Jesse?
I am drinking a beer by Oscar Blues Brewery. It is called Death by Coconut. It's an Irish porter, I guess. You said it's pretty good.
I have had this one, and it is fantastic.
I've never had it. So, I mean, I like coconut. I like porters. Mm-hmm. It's bound to be good, right?
Yeah, I'm not really entirely sure what they mean by the Irish porter. Maybe that they go for a little drier of a flavor, but that's not what I got out of it at all. It's just, It's really good. It's chocolatey and coconutty and oh, so delicious.
And since it is Christmas time, wink, wink, I am using my Holly Jolly Hammered mug.
Which you got as a white elephant gift.
Yes, exactly.
What a great gift.
So there will probably be a picture of this mug on the website, I guess.
Yeah, we'll post it. And I myself, this week, am drinking the Stone Emperial IPA. Not Imperial, Emperial, as in Empire. Because their whole take on it was an English, British style IPA, whichever that means.
Well, yeah, it would be different, because that's where IPAs started.
Yeah, when I think of an English IPA, I kind of think more along the lines of like an extra special bitter or something along those lines, you know?
Yeah, I mean...
A little more malty, but still packs a hoppy punch.
Well, I think that's where IPA started, whenever they were
definitely did.
They were shipping beers to India from Britain, so they had to make them last longer.
But over here, we have a lot more American IPAs than English IPAs.
True.
Yeah, so we're used to even their American IPAs are all over the board.
So that'll be interesting to try that one.
Oh, I am very curious. So let's crack these and pour them.
And of course...
But not yet, before we down the hatch them.
Yeah, you're right. Mine's in a can.
Mine's in a bottle. Hey, there's nothing wrong with cans. Cans are making a great comeback. You know what they say? Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it a canback.
A canback. Wow, your beer is way darker than mine. I can tell already.
Oh, wow, yeah, you're right.
Well, it's a porter. But even for a porter, that's dark.
Looks more like a stout.
Stout technically is a porter.
Ooh, it smells delicious. It smells like coconuts.
Mine kind of smells like a standard IPA. Nothing really sticks out at all. I'm not getting any like citrusy notes. Maybe some slight citrusy notes actually, but it's definitely, I can smell a nice little hop flavor. Got a nice little head. And this is coming from the brewery Stone, who is known for their big old IPAs.
True.
They're delicious IPAs.
Very, very
They actually
true.
have a beer called the Delicious IPA.
Yeah.
They're gluten-reduced IPA.
Which doesn't really make any sense because there's still gluten in it.
But if you have just a slight gluten allergy, then it should be all right. But
yeah.
So we digress.
We gress.
Yeah, we gress. That is a Brews and Tunes original word.
Yes, it is. We should probably put it in Urban Dictionary.
So we will. And after,
we'll come back to Urban Dictionary in a second and teach everyone our Urban Dictionary word.
Okay.
But like we always say in Brews and Tunes, before tasting our beers, we like to say the magical word, which is shibbity-beep-a-dow!
Hold on, I didn't get much. There's a lot of head in mine.
You got foam in your mustache. There's even more foam in your mustache. You got it.
Just where I like that.
A stashy foam?
A foamy stash.
Wow. This is definitely exactly what I anticipated it would be. Like that bitter, like a bitter flavor where the malts don't really... It's very malty, but it's almost not taking away that bitter flavor. And it's not that citrusy bitter flavor. It's like the English hops bitter, which it's really hard to describe. You take a taste of this Imperial IPA and see what you think.
It smells a lot different than an American IPA.
Because you can smell the hops. There might be a slight citrus flavor there, but not.
Well,
it's
you
not.
can, like, it smells like whenever we brew beer, it smells like one of the hop pellets.
It smells like a hop pellet, yeah. Which for any of you guys who know anything about brewing beers, you know what hop pellets are. For those of you who don't know what it is, hops are the ingredient that they use in beer that gives it its bitter flavor. Unfortunately, there's only a small window which hops are fresh and usable, so when they harvest them, they kind of condense them into a pellet.
Yeah.
Almost if you see a fish food pellet or something along
If you've
those
ever
lines.
had like rabbits
Yeah, rabbit.
or hamsters, like what their food looks like,
Yeah, those little
that's
pellets.
essentially what
That's
what
what it
a
looks
hop
like, but
pellet
it's
looks
green and it smells like
Delicious.
this rich hop aroma, floral, citrusy, and bitter.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the taste of this beverage?
It tastes like I'm eating a hop pellet.
Yeah. Like
That's good, though.
You get what I mean, where it's like that bitter kind of doesn't go away. It doesn't turn into that citrusy flavor at all.
No,
it's
it just
kind
kind
of
of
the
stays bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's nice, but it's
kinda
not
like
what
that.
I've never had any IPA like this from Stone ever.
Yeah, true.
I like it.
Well, I mean, they named it correctly then.
What do you think about your Death by Coconut?
It tastes like I'm eating a milkshake.
Isn't it not delicious?
It's very good.
The Death by Coconut is only made, I think, once a year. It's one of their limited releases, and it is oh so good.
It says coconut, chocolate, choconut.
Coconut.
And that's a very good word to use. It's choconut.
Chocolatey and
it's
coconutty.
literally just...
And it's an expensive little can because they sell it in 4-packs, and it's still the same price as a 6-pack, if not more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's not high gravity. So normally when you see like a 4-pack, it's because it's a high gravity beer and they're kind of trying to keep it to a smaller amount. But no, not this one. I think it's close to I think it's under 6% if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's like 6 point something. Yeah, it's 6.5.
6.5. Okay, so that's depending
Still not that
which
bad.
state you're in, that could be high gravity. Not in Tennessee anymore. We had a change in liquor laws.
This would be 2016,
Yes.
not 2017.
Because that was definitely I really have a hard time believing that they brewed that beer and canned it all within the past 9 days.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this is super delicious.
Yeah, and once again, we are using the app, which you can
Yes.
get on any smartphone, any tablet, whatever you're using. It's not specific to Apple or Android or Google or any of those things or whatever. It's called Untapped. And do you want to spell that for the people, Jesse?
Sure, I will.
Well, since he's stalling, I'll spell it. UNTAPPD. Untapped.
Oh, okay.
It is a social drinking app. So you can connect with your friends on there. You can see what they're having. You can check in your own beers and you can toast to other beers. You can comment on your friends' beers. But what we like to do is we like to keep track of what we've had so that we can, like, say you go into a bar and you're looking at a big old list of craft beers and you're like, I'm pretty sure I've had this, but I can't for the life of me remember what I thought.
Yeah.
You log back on, look it up, and you can see what you wrote about it. See what rating you gave it and revisit it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a super nice app.
Oh, yeah. It's
And you also get badges.
badges, yeah.
So those are always fun to get.
Yeah, even though they don't really mean anything and they don't help you out at all in life, it's just kind of fun to see a new badge.
They kind of help you out in life. No,
They make you feel good.
Yeah, that's about it, though.
Yes. Yeah, they're good for the soul. We'll go
Yeah.
for that. Would you get that one again? Well, you obviously have a 4-pack of it, so you're gonna drink it again. But,
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
drink it.
would you ever buy it again? I think I would. I bought that before, and I really enjoyed it enough to order it again, to buy it again.
I mean, I like it, but I would never be like, oh, I just really want a coconut chocolate beer right now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I would like a liquid almond joy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I ever got in the mood for that, then yes.
There's very few times in my life when I'm not thinking, I wish I had a liquid almond joy. So if that gives you any clue, I really think that it's a great beer.
But of course, I don't know if I would buy the one that you're having again either.
Oh, I don't think I would either. It's a very good IPA, don't get me wrong. But when I'm getting like an IPA, a big IPA, double IPA, it's not what I look for. Like I look for more along the lines of Lagunitas sucks, like that kind of rich, citrusy, sticks to your mouth kind of hop feel.
Yep.
Yeah. Or since we were having Surly recently, a great Minnesota brewery.
Yes.
Their Todd the Axeman is a fantastic citrusy double IPA.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Or like we both recently had the Stone and Joyride.
Oh yeah. The Christmas Day one.
Yeah.
That one was really, really good.
Oh, it was delicious. I had it after Christmas, a couple days, which
that's fine.
You can't fault me.
That's fine.
But since I said something about us coming back to our Urban Dictionary definition, would you like to enlighten our listeners?
Yes. So, if you look up this word in the Urban Dictionary, you will see that it was created by
Jungle Rhubarb.
Jungle Rhubarb. Was it just Jungle Rhubarb?
I believe so.
Just Jungle Rhubarb. The word is brooping. Now, if you know Steve or I, and you're listening to this podcast and you know us, you've probably heard us use this word before.
Like, for instance, dude, I'm totally brooping.
Oh, you are? That's great news. See, exactly.
But what does that mean?
It means when one is in the process of fecal production but not quite ready to expel. So one is brewing a poop.
Brooping.
So they're brooping.
Yeah, it's like when you're conjuring
up a deuce.
Yeah.
So, that is our Urban Dictionary word. And pretty soon we're going to be putting the word gress.
For a short digression.
Yeah, instead of digress,
Like
we're
this.
just gress.
Did you see the Yankee game the other night? Oh, sorry that I just gressed there from the program.
Or you could say, hey, what do you think of football on Sunday? I mean, you are wearing a Steelers hat.
Yeah, Steelers are the greatest team in the world.
I don't know about that.
They are the most winning football team of all time. You know what? It's true. City of Champions, Pittsburgh.
Sorry, we gress.
We gress. Let's get back to the program.
Yes.
So all in all, let's rate this week as far as beers go.
Well, I gave this a 3.75 on Untapped.
I gave this a 4 because it's really good, but for an IPA that I want, it's not there, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't get it again, but I think it's a very good, well done IPA.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And we're starting a new segment this week.
Oh yes,
It's called the Belch Count.
I forgot about that.
Should we call it the Belch Count or should we call it something else?
Burp
Tally. Burp Tally.
Burp tally, belch count.
Gas tab.
Counting of the burps.
Let's call it a gas tally. Let's just call it a belch tally.
No,
Belch
burp tally.
Burp tally. Because, as you all know, drinking a highly carbonated beverage gives you the gas.
Yeah, gives you your
We're not talking about the farts. We're talking about the belches and the burps.
Yes.
Burp, like that. And so, we've noticed on our past podcasts that we've just freely let them fly.
Yeah.
And we kind of chuckle to ourselves, and maybe you chuckle to them also. But we want to keep count, just for fun. This has no relevance to anything, but whoever has the highest amount of real belches, so you can't
force it out.
You can't force it. You can't. I can fake burp. Here's a fake burp. See, that doesn't count. Manufactured by me. Not manufactured by carbonation. Manufactured by me.
Yeah.
So these have to be naturally occurring belches from the brews.
Yep.
And we'll keep a tally each week for myself and for Jesse. And whoever has at the end is the proverbial winner.
All right.
Do we have any prizes this week? Not this week, but we'll think of something.
We'll think of something, yeah.
And if you have any ideas, feel free to leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Or to send us an email on our website, which is brewsandtunes decemberists.podcast.com, a site where you can look in all the beers we've had, you can listen to every episode, you can see pictures that we've posted, and you can look up all the links that we've kind of put up, like the YouTube links for the songs, the bands, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Just a fun way to keep in touch. And we also have a Facebook page. You can look us up, Brews and Tunes. Easy to find.
Yes, sir.
All right. I feel like we've sufficiently covered the brews aspect of this podcast.
Yeah. We'll check back in on the brews in a little bit.
Yeah, and we're gonna, like we said before, beers naturally expose their flavors as they warm up. So as these beers warm up, we'll be able to taste them a little better. And if our opinions change, we'll let you know. All right, I'm gonna start it out because let's just start out with the biggest first. And leave the best for last. No, I'm kidding. I jest. But I'm just going to start it first because I think that's kind of the format that we've been taking, where I just kind of go first.
Yeah, you usually go first.
So Jesse recommended this album called Hazards of Love by the band The Decemberists for me.
The Hazards of Love.
The Hazards of Love. I had no knowledge of who the Decemberists were, except for I got one of their songs for free download on iTunes.
Which one was it?
I don't know. It was not the song that I thought it was.
Was it it was off one of their newer albums, right?
Probably. Irrelevant, though.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to remember what it's called.
Down by the River? Something like that?
I think that might be it, actually.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was a different song, and we, my body tells me no.
No, that's not the Decemberists.
Yeah, that's what I thought was the Decemberists.
Isn't that
I was very wrong.
Young the Giant?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very incorrect, and I owed Jesse $1, and then we made another bet, and he owed me $1, so we canceled it out. We doubled or nothinged. So I had no preconceived knowledge of the Decemberists other than the one song which I really didn't think was their song. So I had no interest in listening to the Decemberists. They sounded like a pretentious band just based on the name the Decemberists. I'm not even sure why. It just they get lumped in. Even because they get lumped in with that indie genre, that you just kind of have that preconceived notion of pretentiousness.
Yep, definitely.
And I hate to think that about bands that I haven't listened to, but it happens.
Yeah, definitely.
And so he recommends this album for me called The Hazards of Love, and I look into it, and it's 17 songs long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? In the same way that Kevin from The Office says, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nah, but 17 songs, when you actually delve into the album, isn't too bad, and it really goes quick.
Yeah, I think it's only about an hour long.
Yeah,
the album is
about an hour. And it is 100% a concept album.
Yes.
If I didn't know any better and I just listened to it, I would say this is the soundtrack of a musical or an opera.
Yep, yeah, that's how I would frame it. It's like it's like you're watching a play, but it's just the soundtrack.
Yes. And so the whole album follows one singular story, and there's no dialogue. All of the story is kind of traced out through the lyrics and through the
through
what
song.
what they sing through the song. And I'm just trying to think where to begin. It's kind of like what's the writer's name? Do you remember?
The writer?
Yeah, the singer songwriter, the main guy from the Decemberists.
Oh, it's Colin Malloy.
Yes,
I think.
So this guy, from what Jesse tells me, is I think he majored in creative writing. We think.
Yep. Yeah, I looked it up earlier today. Yeah. He studied English and theater, and then he studied creative writing.
And so he wrote this album. I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote down a short story or play.
Oh, yeah.
And then based the entire album off of that.
He also has a trilogy of books, children's books. Well, children fantasy books.
Yeah. And this
like adventure books.
This book is definitely, or this album is definitely like a fantasy adventure story.
Yeah.
I'm just going to outline the entire story right now.
Okay,
now,
that's
and
a good
then we'll
idea.
talk about the songs
Then we'll
afterwards.
delve into each song, yeah.
And if I miss anything, feel free to correct me because you've known the album for a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, to all of you listening out there, it took me 3 weeks to really get a grasp on everything that happened in here. I read a lot of websites that detailed everything that was happening, but to kind of listen to it a bunch of times, it takes a while to absorb everything. And musically, sonically, lyrically.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, there's one for me. Okay. So
this burp tally is great.
This story starts off with this lady named Margaret who's riding through the forest, as one does.
Yeah.
And she stumbles upon this little fawn, which fawn's not really a contemporary term anymore. Okay, there you go. That's another tally for you. Fawn's not a contemporary word really anymore, like it used to be. It's a half man, half deer. Is that kind of what a fawn is?
Well, I think it's just a baby deer,
Baby
fawn.
deer.
You're thinking of a satyr?
No, I'm guarantee you, fawn's half man, half deer type thing.
No,
Like Sir Tumnus the fawn.
he's not a fawn.
He's a fawn.
Well, that's what Lewis called him anyway.
Okay, well, let's just go with the deer for the sake that I don't want to argue right now. I like to not. I don't like conflict.
I always thought it was just a deer.
She stumbles upon this deer. We'll go with that. A fawn,
White
a small
and
creature,
woolen fawn, right?
and he's trapped. He's got his leg kind of caught up in this bush, right?
Yeah.
And so she, being a gentle woman, gets off of her horse and frees him. And lo and behold, he turns into a man.
Yeah.
A good-looking man by her accounts.
Yes. Yep.
And the two immediately fall in love at first sight.
Yeah, they hit it off.
And they hit it off in the biblical terms.
Yes.
We'll just leave it at that and not get too graphic.
Yep.
And they don't really talk too much. They just kind of part ways after that, and they kind of have that, wow, that was I'm thinking about this other person. I'm thinking about this other person.
Yeah, there's both a seed set in each of their minds.
Yeah. And so the fawn, who's actually a man, stays in the forest, and she returns to her village. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, she becomes pregnant. And she continues to think about this man in the forest. So she goes back in, and she has no idea where to find him. So she returns to where she met him, and he's not there. So she calls out, "Where are you? Where are you? Trees, ground, leaves, help me find this man fawn thing." And eventually he finds her and catches up, and they have another intimate moment and fall in love even more. And they decide that they want to spend the rest of their lives together. Eventually, it comes out that this man's mother is the queen of the forest.
Yep.
And she is a fantastical, mythical queen. She's got powers.
Yep.
And she's witnessed these two in love, and she is not happy.
Yep.
And so the man, you find out, has been cursed to be a fawn by day and a man by night. This is what the mother did. She rescued him as a child, but she placed upon him that curse so that she'd always be with her.
Yep.
And so the man, whose name is William, begs his mother to let him go so he can be with this woman because he loves her so much. And she's like, "No, why are you asking this? I'm the one who saved you, and this is how you repay me by leaving me for some woman?"
Yeah.
And he begs and begs, and eventually he comes to this compromise where he's like, "Let me go for this one night, and then I'll return to you forever." And she's like, "Fine, you can do that."
Yeah.
And so he leaves to meet up with her. Secretly, the queen gets this new character called the Rake, who is before you actually find out what the Rake does, they give you some backstory. He was a womanizer, and then he finally got married to this extraordinarily attractive woman, had 3 kids with her, and she died in childbirth for their 4th child.
Yep.
So he's left without the wife, whom I'm positive it was lust, not love. Mm-hmm. And he's left with 3 kids who he doesn't care for, so he murders them all, and now he's free.
Yeah.
So that's who this character, the Rake, is. She kind of pulls him aside and says, "Listen," like the queen says, "Listen, Rake, take this woman, Margaret, get her away from my son, and do what you want with her, kill her, do whatever, I don't care, just keep him away." She calls him, she calls her the temptation. Mm-hmm. And so the Rake obliges, kidnaps this girl, and so William's like, "Where's my love? Where's my love? I need to find her." And meanwhile, the Rake is he has Margaret bound, kind of like over his shoulder, carrying her away. He crosses this river, which is like, how would you describe this river?
Very deep, wide,
fierce.
Rushing. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good concept for it. If you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, I'm sorry, it's the first thing I think of.
Yeah, same.
When they cross the river, after Frodo's got stabbed with the sword, and the ring wraiths are chasing him.
Yeah.
That river that swipes the ring wraiths away. That kind of river where if you try and take a foot in it, it's going to sweep you away and kill you.
Yep.
The Queen helps the rake cross this river with Margaret so that William will not be able to follow them.
Yeah, remember, because the Queen has like control over.
Yeah, so she
like,
actually
everything.
flies them over that river.
Yeah.
And so William gets to the edge of the river, and he's like, I'm crossing this river whether it kills me or not.
Yeah.
Please give me safe passage because I don't care if I die. I'm getting to my one true love.
Yeah.
And so eventually he gets safe passage. And the rake, who's about to, for lack of a better term, defile Margaret,
Yeah.
is stopped by the ghosts of his 3 children who he murdered.
Yeah.
And they kind of just freak him out so much that he like is so distracted and she escapes. And William catches up with her, and they realize that they cannot have a life on this earth. If they stay there, the rake will eventually catch up and kill them both, or just do something terrible. If they make it to the other side, then they'll be in the
And his mother will.
the clutches of the Queen.
Yeah.
They can't go back to the town because he's going to turn back into a fawn eventually, and then it's not going to work out. So they decide to marry themselves and kill themselves in the river.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
they
they
decide to drown themselves.
They drown themselves to escape the hazards of love.
Yeah.
So that took us a long time to explain the entire plot of that album, but that's what it is. Stretched over 17 songs and musical genius, because they do a lot of really smart things to kind of tie this album together.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's delve in track by track wise here. So this album starts out with a prelude.
Yep.
Throwaway track. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I jest again. Essentially, you don't need it, but it kind of sets the tone for you realizing there's going to be a story. That's what I get out of this song.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not much happens, but you know that it's setting you up for something bigger. Mm-hmm. And so it
just
serves a
like-
purpose. I can skip it and not feel any difference, but when you listen to it, you know why it's there.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I would listen to this, like I would always listen to this album when I was on like a family road trip, and I would just like sit in the car and listen to it for an hour, and that'd be a good way to pass an hour. And so whenever I would listen to it, though, I would always listen to the prelude and be like, "Oh yeah, here comes the story."
It's nice to have in there, but I have no problem with skipping it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But the second song is definitely non-skippable. It sets up the entire story.
Yeah.
That's what introduces you to each character, and she meets the fawn. And this song is called "The Prettiest Whistles Won't Wrestle the Thistles Undone." What a tongue twister. What a long title.
Yeah.
And actually, that's not even the entire title, because in parentheses, it's called Hazards of Love 1.
Yeah.
There are many songs that have Hazards of Love 2, Hazards of Love 3, all the way up to the
There are
fourth one.
4, right? Yeah.
And so I like to think they split it into sections for a reason, mainly because they talk about the hazards of love in each respective song. But this song the title's too long. It's a mouthful.
The prettiest.
And the very first line in the song says, my true love was riding.
riding out in.
And so you'd think that William is singing about his true love, correct?
They haven't met yet, though.
Which is true. And we'll come back to narration later, because you have to keep in mind in this song, this person says, my true love. So you're led to believe it's William talking about, hey, this is when my one true love came and met me.
Mm-hmm.
But is it, though? We'll find out. There are some things that lead me to believe otherwise later on in the album. So it's the first Hazards of Love section. They kind of repeat that line, the hazards of love. Mm-hmm. And you're introduced to the characters, and you kind of start to know who they are. So essentially, at least from the title, the prettiest whistles, a whistle is a pretty cool little invention. I don't know what they mean in medieval times or when he's trying to write this album. Something that's great, which I can say is love, great things, love, can be messy or dangerous, which I would say hazardous. Oh, you had another belch. Nice.
Yeah, it was kind of a quiet one.
So that's what I say. Eat great things, i.e. love, can be messy or dangerous, hazards. Mm-hmm. Prettiest whistles can't wrestle the thistles undone. That's what I get out of that. So we go into the next song, a bower scene.
And one thing to note about the first song, too, is like usually an overture and like a musical usually kind of sets up musical themes. Like
but this isn't
certain melodies.
It's not an overture, it's a prelude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But in the first song, you hear a lot of melodies that come back throughout the entire piece. Well,
And another side note, each song segues into the next respective song.
Yeah, so like,
Some are really obvious, some of them are not as obvious, but every single song bleeds into the next song, except for the very last song.
this album is, in my opinion, very difficult to listen to not straight through.
Yeah. And in fact, when I was listening to this on Spotify, sometimes I would go through 3 songs without realizing I've been through more than one,
songs?
because literally it just sounds like they continue as one.
Yeah.
So moving on to the third song, which is called A Bower Scene. Should I do my ratings?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to.
For the
each
prelude, 3 out of 5, because I don't really care for this song, but it sets it up. That's why I gave it 3. If I didn't care entirely, I would have given it like 1 out of 5.
song. Yeah.
But because it's part of the whole, I gave it 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
For the prettiest whistles won't wrestle the thistles undone, Hazards of Love 1. Whew. I gave that a 3.75 out of 5. Musically, it's awesome. It's got this real southern rock kind of feel. I don't know how to describe it other than that. This ominous southern
weird
guitar, really cool sound.
Mm-hmm.
A Bower Scene, I give 3.75 because, again, it's got this driving palm mute. It's a little heavier, fast, and it gives you this sense of anticipation, like a driving force, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just, when I hear this,
Or even uneasiness.
bum, 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 bum. Yeah, it gives you like this anxiousness. That's a good word, right?
Anxiousness, yeah.
Heavy, ominous guitar parts keep coming in. Essentially, this is the song you find out she's pregnant and she needs to go find her love.
Yep.
The next song, which is called Won't Want for Love, in parentheses, Margaret's song, in parentheses, she comes back into the forest. This is where she's trying to locate her true love, William.
Yep.
I gave this one 3.5 out of 5. It's a good song, but it's not one that I'm going to revisit unless I'm listening to the album entirely. Her melodies, because this is a song where Margaret sings and William sings at a couple parts. I really like the parts where Margaret sings, but when William sings, it's important to push the story forward, but it's not my favorite part of the song, if that makes any sense. Moving on to song number 5 is called Wager All, and it's Hazards of Love 2. So it's revisiting the theme of the hazards of love.
I like this song a lot.
So I kind of said this may fall into the second section. And again, this is just me saying that this could be the second section. If you actually listen to the album, you might decide that it should be split up into different ways.
Yeah.
So my word is not authority. It's just me going by
Just
this.
your opinion, yeah.
Yeah, shibbity boop down. You know how, as they say.
As they say.
So she finds William in this song, and he, as the song says, wager all. This is where he says he's willing to risk everything for his love.
Mm-hmm.
This is much more of a somber song. It's kind of a lot slower.
I wager all.
Yeah, got some really like great melodies in it, like the one that you just sang, but it's not a fast driving song like the other ones. It's kind of, and I think it's not driving or fast because they want to focus on that kind of theme. Like you want to wager it all, you want to live in that moment, you want to have that somber, slow, let's make this count moment. And that's what I got out of there. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 because it's good. It's not one I'm going to revisit too often, but not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is called The Queen's Approach.
And
this is an instrumental song.
Yep, you're also introduced to another theme here.
Another theme, which is the Queen's theme.
Bump, bump,
And it's this real ominous theme. It kind of makes you kind of like uneasy, like a sense of dread, right?
Yeah.
And I wrote down banjos because there's some banjos that come in here. And who doesn't love a banjo? Ding, 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 ding.
Not that type of banjo.
Not that type of banjo, but there is a banjo in this song. It's a good banjo, but it's ominous. I gave the song 3 out of 5 because I really don't... Like, if I'm going to play my individual songs on the iPod, I will never play this song. But in the context of the album, it makes sense. So that's why I gave it 3. Okay. If I'm going song by song and this didn't make sense in the album, 1.
Okay.
So because it relates to the album, I elevate it higher. I'm not going to come back and listen to the song individually, but when you put it in the context of the album, it really makes sense and it's smart. Song number 7 is called Isn't It a Lovely Night?
Oh, I love this song.
And this one is another duet sung between Margaret and William. It's much more slower and flowing, and it's a waltzy song, right? That's
Yeah.
what you call it, 3, 4, 6, 8. What would you say? It's just something triple meter, right? It's waltzy. It is very waltzy.
It's 3, 4.
Yes, it's waltzy. It's the kind of thing where if you hear the melody, you can just really sway to it in a 3, 4. If you can imagine a old ballroom where people are doing the waltz and swinging in circles, that's what I imagine when I hear this song.
Yep.
And these two are singing to each other about their love for each other and how it's a lovely night that they're together and professing their love. What stuck out to me is the last portion of the song is all instrumental and all these other instruments kind of come in. Is that another belch?
Yeah.
You're beating me. I've only got one. You're up to
3.
Who would have guessed that a porter is more carbonated? Or maybe it's just affecting you differently. We'll see.
Could be.
And so,
Anyway.
the last portion of this song is all instrumental, and all these new instruments are introduced, and you hear all these new sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I think about is like they've said what they need to say. I envision them dancing around the forest and just enjoying each other's company. That's what I think about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just like,
and then like in a Disney movie, all the birds come and start singing. And all that.
yes. I didn't actually think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Join.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on to a higher note. Song number 8 is called "The Wanting Comes in Waves." Parentheses repaid end parentheses.
Yeah.
So this song is. Did I give a rating to the last song?
Yeah, you did. No.
Well, if I didn't, it's 3.25 out of 5, which is a good song. It's a pretty good rating, but it's not my favorite.
Gotcha.
This song, "Wanting Comes in Waves," 5.
5.
5 out of 5.
Nice. It's one of my favorite songs.
And it starts out with this ominous theme that kind of takes that melody from "Isn't It a Lovely Night?" but turns it into a yes, this darker, more
they take
minor
that beginning
sounding
part.
Yes. So "Isn't It a Lovely Night?" You have this major melodic, happy sounding theme. They turn that into a dark, ominous, like, oh, I'm like
a driving, like intense
theme.
melody.
Yeah. And so this song is William talking to his mother when she tells him that she sees what's going on. And it's also, the intro is played on a harpsichord.
Really?
Yes. And when I think of harpsichords, I think of like Mozart and regality, like royalty. Yeah. And so when I think of that, I think,
I guess, the Queen.
The Queen, which
that's
sense. Why I'm pointing
sense.
that out.
Yeah.
And so that regality is represented by the Queen, and it's ominous. And so he's kind of like talking to his mother, saying all these things about how he loves her so much. And he comes to this part right before what I call the wave chorus.
The wave chorus?
Yes, I call it the wave chorus, quote unquote.
You mean the...
Yes! And the wanting comes in waves. And it's just the most spectacular, melodious part in the entire album. And when I hear it, it gives me the chills and the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And I feel this like intense emotion. I really connect. Even if I don't know what they're saying, I just hear it and it just makes me feel happy and feel good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
And that's what he felt when he thinks about his love. He doesn't need to know what it is. He doesn't need to know anything. He just knows, like, the emotions. He knows the feelings, and it's there for him. Mm-hmm. And they did that so perfectly in the music because I feel it too. And I just love that. And it's just beautiful.
Just spot on.
But after that, it comes back to the Queen.
The Queen.
And she scornfully replies to him, and that's when she's kind of like, I raised you, I saved you from death.
Yeah.
I raised you, I brought you up, and this is how you treat me. This is how you repay me.
Yeah.
And she's scary. She's got this...
Yeah.
She almost sings in this weird combination of softness and intense. Like, it's soft and intense.
Yeah.
With a lot of vibrato, and she's just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of thing where it's... Like when you hear, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Yeah. Almost like that kind of respect.
Oh, really?
But she has the fury to back it up and the strength to back it up.
Yes,
but she doesn't like use that. She just kind of like is kind of like soft,
it's like saying,
but so foreboding.
You know that I can destroy you.
Yes. And so she kind of does that. But the waves chorus comes back again. And it's so ridiculously good. Yeah. I just love that melody. and it's so good. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, 5 out of 5. This song is super duper good. It's hard to listen to the song by itself if you don't already know the context.
Yeah.
But since I already know it, I will come back and listen to this song.
Okay.
And I really do like it. So after this song, the 9th song is an interlude, and it's an instrumental again. It's a nice way to kind of split the album. And they don't really revisit any melodies or anything from the first half, but I think they have some melodies from the very last song that they kind of play in the interlude. I don't know if you remember that or not. Revisit it.
I feel like they do still come back to some melodies from the first half.
If they did, I missed it.
I think so, anyway.
Check it out again later. And you folks at home, check it out.
Yeah.
Dive into this album.
Try to pick it up.
It's really good. But song number 9 I gave 3 out of 5 because I'm never going to listen to it again unless I'm listening to the album the whole way through.
Same reason before, yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 10 is Rake's song. Another 5 out of 5. What up, 100%? And that was a high 5 because I rated it 5. Okay, so this is where we're introduced to the Rake, who, like I said before, was a womanizer, married this beautiful woman whom I'm almost positive solely based on lust, not love, because, like I said, he's a womanizer. And I don't know, he just didn't grow out of his ways. Married her, and in the song he talks about how it was great until her womb started spewing out babies, or something along the lines of that. That's not verbatim. If you talk about a womb spewing out babies as a bad thing, I think that says a lot about your marriage and a lot about how you are as a person. So clearly he didn't have that emotional attachment to his offspring, which, even if you're an animal, that's very unusual when you think about how protective animals are about their babies. It's just mind-boggling that you could have kids and not really feel that affinity for them. And once his wife dies after his 4th child is in the process of being born, he becomes sad that his wife's dead and he has nothing to live for because she was beautiful and met all his needs or whatever. So he kills all his kids and he's happy about it. He feels no remorse. That's what this song entails. Yeah. All of that. So it's a cool song. Mm-hmm. This is one of the few songs
very catchy
that you don't need to know anything about the album and you can listen to it by itself.
Yeah.
That's also one reason why I gave it 5 out of 5. You don't need to know the beginning and you don't need to know the end to listen to this song. And it's got this really cool, fun guitar part in it that's catchy. It's just memorable.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da, da,
yes.
Da, da, da. Yeah.
And it just paints this guy as this vile psychopath.
Yeah.
He's a Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I mean, he didn't eat his kids, but my goodness.
And they achieve a lot of that through the lyrics.
Yes.
Like there's one lyric that I always that I really like from that song, where he says,
"Oh my gosh, I just took a sip of Jesse's beer. Oh my gosh."
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, fantastic.
But
sorry, back to that song. What were we
but anyway, that line? Just one of the lines from that song, he says, "I was wedded, and it whetted my thirst." So he says he's wedded, like he is married, and that only made him want to lust more. Because
so he's already unhappy,
because
right?
then he was tied down.
So he's already unhappy.
Yeah.
And then, like I said before, he says something along the lines of her womb spilling out babies. Yeah, because I couldn't remember the word, but like I said before, it's not verbatim, but something along those lines.
Yeah.
And if you have to say it like that, you don't love your babies.
It's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. But he every time he gives you a stanza, it ends in this one line, all right, all right, all right. And that's literally every stanza where he's like, I was a womanizer and I got married. All right, all right, all right. We had a good life. She spewed out babies. All right, all right, all right. She died and it was terrible. All right, all right, all right. I started killing my babies. All right, all right, all right. I feel no remorse. All right, all right, all right. Yeah. And so why is he saying all right, all right, all right? Mm-hmm. What I think is that it's showing that he doesn't care about anything. He's like, this is what happened in my life. All right, all right, whatever. All right. So that's what I get out of it.
Or like if someone was like scolding you and you'd be like, and you like don't think you're in the wrong, you're just like, all right, all right.
So he's not putting any weight to any of those aspects.
Whoa, there you go.
That was right after I took a sip of your beer. It must be more carbonated than mine.
There must be. I don't know, dude. Oh wait, no cheating.
All right, but Rake's song is a really good song. I'll come back to my top 3 songs later, so it's gonna be in there. But I'll come back to it later. On to song number 11, which is called The Abduction of Margaret. Can you get any more specific than that?
No.
No, you could get more specific, but it's very specific already.
Yes.
So this comes back to the driving palm muted guitar that happens on the third track, which is called A Bower Song. And it's literally the exact same music. I wouldn't be surprised if they took that track and just stuck new lyrics over it.
Yeah.
Because in the A Bower Song, there's this loud, ominous guitar that comes on. Dun, 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 and it comes in at the same exact spot in this song. So are they recycling music? No, they're reusing it for a purpose.
Exactly.
It's to drive the story back. It's to bring back that familiarity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is something that happens in musicals, operas,
all the time. Yep.
Storytelling, just to kind of keep you in that same story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they use it for certain characters,
Yes.
certain moods, certain scenes. Like the composer is using it to make you feel a certain way that they want you to feel.
Yes.
Essentially.
And it's an ominous sounding driving. Like this is the song I said before that gives you that anxiety, that anticipation.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, what's happening?
And so, story-wise, this is a song where the rake kidnaps Margaret. And
Yes.
I don't really have any affinity for this song, but because they reuse that thing, I really kind of reuse that the music. I really liked that, and so I gave it a 3.75 out of 5.
Oh.
The next song, which is song number 12, is called "The Queen's Rebuke / The Crossing." And so, holy burps!
Was that two?
Yes,
Steve, no cheating, no cheating.
I'm not cheating.
Yes, you are. You're trying my beer again.
Now, count your burps.
No, Steve. Oh, look at that. Up to 5.
My beer's not carbonated like yours is.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. All right, so
No, it's not.
the Queen comes back, and this is a different. I didn't actually mention this before, but the Queen is a different singer as Margaret.
Yes.
Whereas the guy who voices William is the same vocalist who voices the
True.
rake.
Yeah, that's a good.
So
good point.
technically, there's only 3 vocalists that you actually hear for 4 characters. But the Queen sings again in the same exact tone that she sang in track number 8, which was "The Wanting Comes in Waves," where she's got that low, soft but intense voice with tons of vibrato, which makes you makes.
What do you think of her voice?
I really like her voice.
Same. I really like it.
It comes across as "I mean business, don't cross me."
Yeah.
But speaking of crossing, this song is about helping the rake cross the river. And so this song kind of gives more insight into the Queen and how she feels about William, because she tells the rake, "I took this baby who was stuck in clay and I made him into a powerful person. I gave him immortality and I'm going to turn him to a fun by night, person by day." And this is the song where she calls Margaret the temptation. And so this shows that she's possessive and jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get that feeling not only from the way she sings, but that same music that's going on again. You just get that feel, and it just really drives across that. Again, remind me the singer's name, songwriter.
Colin Malloy.
He knew what he was doing when he wrote this. He was very particular. Again, this is another song where the second half is instrumental, and not accidental. I think this is because it's trying to paint a picture of the Queen helping the rake cross the river with Margaret over his shoulder, bound and captured.
Yeah.
And it's ominous again. And at the very end, you think William arrives at the edge of the river and knows that Margaret's crossed there, but can't do anything. Mm-hmm. Which, rating-wise, I'll give this a 3 out of 5. It's not my favorite song. It's not bad. I actually forgot to rate it, so I'm just guessing right now.
That's the best song on the album, man.
Whatever.
No, I don't.
Song
think
number
so.
13 is called Anon Water. And it's called that because the river is called the Anon River, correct?
Yeah, I would guess so, yeah.
I gave the song 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
Whoa! Why is that a high rating, you ask?
I would have given it a 5.
Based on the other songs I gave a 5, I couldn't give it a 5.
Okay.
But this is up there rating-wise for me. The music is very, very desperate in this song. You get this urgency, like this sense that something needs to happen. You get this sound of urgency. And why the urgency? Because William is standing at the base of this river, knowing his love is across there, and he's just, how do I get there?
This is beginning of my favorite part of the album.
Okay.
This song.
So he knows that if he tries to cross the river, he'll die because his mother has told him this before, and they outline this exact theme in the song. He recounts when his mother tells him,
Yeah.
"Don't mess with this river; it's
Or
dangerous."
sure, I'll drown. It'd be
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I'll drown.
He-
It'd be.
says, "I'm going to cross this river if I die."
But the best part.
Hold on, I'm not there
You
yet.
got it. You got it. Yep. You know.
He asks for the river to calm, and that's when the song gets melodious.
Yep.
And this pipe organ comes in, and it's just, again, I don't have any way to describe it other than
Yep.
beautiful. Oh, it touches my heart so much.
Yeah. Because,
Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart.
But yeah, because though. The
My
reason why-
hearter, my hearter. No, I'm sorry for interrupting. It's
Was that
a hard.
was that Bach or Beethoven?
That was Bach.
Bach. Yeah. Okay.
It was the Erlkönig
Oh, the Erlkönig.
by
What is that?
who knows? It doesn't
The Elf
matter.
King.
Doesn't matter. It's a song called "The Elf King" by some composer who's like Schubert or Schumann or one of those guys.
That's 6. Steve, stop trying to steal my beer.
I'm not trying to steal anyone's beer. All right. What were you gonna say about?
Oh, mein Vater, not mein Heart.
I know, but I was saying "Mein Heart" because this song, like, when I
Okay.
hear the pipe organ come in and this guy saying, "Please, please,
Yeah.
make this river calm so I can reach my love."
Yeah.
You feel the struggle. It tugs at your heartstrings. You want this guy to get across the river.
Oh yeah.
But
But
like I said before, I researched a lot of people who have who have given commentary on the album, and they have said there's lack of character development. The
I don't
character
really think
development
so.
is in the music.
oh yeah, definitely.
I feel everything that this guy feels in the music,
Yeah, I agree with you.
and especially in this song.
Anyway, the reason why it's so powerful and why Steve it tugs at his heartstrings so much is because at the beginning of the song you're introduced to a certain type of melody, a certain type of instrumental, whatever you want to call it, instrumental arrangement, and then whenever he starts pleading with the river, it goes like it just calms down, and you can almost feel him just saying like Steve said, the pipe organ comes in, and like the key changes, like the feel of the song changes, and when in that part, I love the chord choice
Yes,
Super good.
yes.
and the progression, the chord
It's
progression.
a beautiful progression. And
Yeah.
played on the organ. Oh,
Yeah.
I dare you, and this is I triple dog dare all of you listeners to listen to this song where this part comes in, and to not let it affect you because it's impossible. It's impossible.
Listen to the whole album, and then when you get to that point,
Yeah, but like I said, 4.5 out of 5 is the rating I gave the song. Moving on to song number 14, "Margaret in Captivity." Oh my goodness, another song that's way too descriptive in the title. I'm kidding. The guitar part in this song really reminds me of Bon Jovi, "Wanted Dead or Alive."
really. Oh yeah, just that beginning.
It's all
part.
the same, only the names change. Yeah, they kind of put the guitar part, for lack of a better term, on Front Street. It's very up front, the guitar part, and it's very, very similar to track number 2, which is the Thistle and Whistle
Yep,
song.
this is where that melody comes back.
Not the melody, the guitar part, but the
Well,
melody
the
kind of
melody
comes
also
back.
comes back. Yep.
And so they revisit it, and essentially it's the rake talking to Margaret, saying, "Calm down, woman. You're in captivity. Don't struggle.
No one's gonna hear you.
No one's gonna
right
hear
now."
you." But she calls out for William.
Yeah, and then there are these breaks in the songs where Margaret sings, and what music does it go back to? It's like, don't know, oh my own true love.
I don't remember the music, but I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember. Like that's also.
they
in
come back
an
to
earlier
another-
part of the album as well.
Which again goes to show that they reuse melodic motifs, themes for emotions and for characters and
yeah,
for continuity. The next song is called "Revenge." Parentheses Hazards of Love Part 3.
This song.
I gave this song 4.5 out of 5. Another highly rated song.
The song's crazy.
The intro recalls the intro music from track number 8, which is my favorite song, "Wanting Comes Into Waves," but it's played much more furiously and on an electric guitar. Do 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 do, and it's way faster. And again, it's played on the harpsichord, and that has to be to represent the Queen. Almost instantly cut off.
It's like by
this waltzy triple meter song where a bunch of kids start singing.
And it's kind of creepy.
It is creepy because a lot of times when you hear kids sing, it's just creepy in general.
Yeah, in most contexts.
And then when you learn who the kids are, it's even more creepy.
It's like, oh.
Here's what they are. They're the Rake's 3 murdered children coming back to haunt him.
Coming back to life to haunt him, yeah.
Yes. It is so creepy. And
Yep.
they sing the exact same melody as the second song, the Thistles and Whistles song.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my goodness, it is creepy.
It's so weird because they like talk about how they killed him.
Yes.
How he killed
them, but how they're back to life.
And then like, but
Ghost.
now we're here
Yes.
to like haunt you and sing about the hazards of love.
It
Father.
is so good. This is another song I could listen to by itself, even though it's one where it's not going to make any sense if you don't know the
Outside
context
of the album.
album.
Yeah.
It is really, really a good song. And about halfway through the song, they do these... I don't know how to describe it other than horror genre musical ideas
it's
introduced on the violin. Where if you turn like a violin bow upside down.
Yep, that's what I was
and
thinking
play
about
with
today.
Instead of playing with the horsehair
playing with the
portion of
stick.
the bow, you play with the stick, and it's just this
wooden part.
harsh. Like if you ever hear of like a horror movie, like a shrill,
Like the psycho knife. except
psycho knife.
It's like that type of thing.
They
Except
do
not
that, except not that
intense.
harsh. But it's
Yeah.
just this.
Oh,
That's two
that's
burps for
two.
me.
Catching up.
So it's just this brutal, intense song about these kids haunting their psychopath, vile, murderous father.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good song. And that's, again, that's the third Hazards of Love song. So I'm going to say that's the third section of the album because
The end of the third section.
that's how I classify it. Yes.
The end of the third section. End of the third section. Yeah.
Start of the fourth. And so moving on to song number 16, which I gave a 4.75 out of 5. Why is that rating
Because
so high?
The title of the song, The Wanting,
comes in waves.
Reprise.
This is the song where William reaches the other side of the river.
Yep.
And the intro is the same as the last track, which was that recalling to the One Tick Comes in Waves. And it's still ominous. But instead of having all these children come in, you have what I call the Waves chorus come back in. The most beautiful chorus of the entire song.
Waves, ooh,
Ooh, ooh, ooh, and the wanting comes in waves. It's just this melody that I fell in love with the very first time I heard it, and I still think it's the greatest melody that he's written on this album.
Yeah.
And it comes back, and it's just so beautiful. But the first time that he sang this line, he was talking about his love like coming back to him again and again, as waves do. This time, he's crossed a river with furious waves, so obviously it's got that that water element, that marine element. I don't know what to call it.
But now he wants something different than just love.
Yes. And it's so good. I love that Waves chorus. So 4.75 out of 5 for that.
There you go.
And moving on from that song to the last song, number 17, which is called The Drowned, Hazards of Love, Part 4. So this is the last section. There is no segue from the last song into this. Like I said before, every other song on the album, 1 through 16, has a segue where the songs go from song to song.
Yeah.
Not this one. This song is by itself. This song is a conclusion to the album, to the story,
The entire
epic.
entire piece.
We'll just call it an epic.
The entire epic. Sure.
Yeah, because that's what it goes for. It's a much softer and somber guitar-driven song, acoustic guitar-driven song.
Yep.
And like I said when I outlined the story of the album, this is where they decide to marry themselves infinitely for the rest of eternity by surrendering themselves to death in the river. Since they can't cross the river to meet the queen or to meet the village where he would become a faun, it wouldn't work. And they can't stay there because the rake's there. The only option they have is to die in the river together and to be together forever. And they talk about having to not worry about the hazards of love. Because if they're together forever, they don't have to worry about the terrible things, the disaster, the strife, anything that can affect the love or the good things in life.
Yeah.
So if they're going to die together, They're going to be in peace and not have the hazards of love.
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet, as you said before.
Yeah.
And
Same type of idea.
side note, it's somber, and I get this real country feel from it. There's a banjo playing a lot, and a really slide guitar, yeah. Super country.
But like, whenever I listen to this, I never thought country. Like, I never think country. Just because it seems like...
When I hear slide guitar, I think Hawaiian or country, and I did not think Hawaiian for this song.
But what I'm saying is that this almost seems like different. Like, it's not like it's not a normal genre, is what I'm saying.
No,
like this seems like a completely different genre, just because of the fact that the album is entirely a concept album.
Yes, and
so yes, there's a slide guitar, but it's not like country. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For the majority of the song, I wouldn't say country, but when the slide guitar comes in, it really has a country feel to it.
Nah, I don't think so.
I burped.
Okay, you did. Oh, that's 2. If you're listening to the album straight through, it does not feel like country.
He's wrong. It feels country. I don't think like Johnny Cash, Randy Travis, Garth Brooks. That's not what I think of. But when I hear the slide guitar, I reminisce. I think of country.
Yeah, but like that doesn't sound like a country song.
No, yes it does.
That's
because
like
when the banjo comes in, it's still country. It doesn't sound like...
I don't think so.
Melokaliki Mako is the thing. I'm sure there's a slide guitar in that song.
But I'm saying, like, for me, I'm so engrossed in the story that I'm not like...
Gross. Ew, gross.
Gosh.
You're so gross in the story. I'm just kidding.
I'm so engrossed in the story that I'm not like, oh, that's a boring country.
We're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let me wrap up this album so you can move on to
yours.
yours.
Yeah, give your overall impressions and rating.
Overall impressions, this album is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
As a whole.
Yes.
You need to listen to this album front to back.
Yeah, you have to.
It's really... after you kind of dive into the story and you're immersed into it and you know everything that's going on, then maybe you can pick out individual tracks. Good one. But until then, you need to listen to this album front to back. And even if you're well versed in it, it makes it so much better to hear it all together.
Yeah. That's why I would listen to it on long car trips.
Now, let me give my top 3. I'll go 3 songs. We'll go 3, just to keep it simple. Number 3 is the Wanting Comes in Waves reprise, just because I love that melody.
You can just give your top 3 in no order.
I'm giving it an order though.
Okay.
You don't have to. I'm going to. Number 2 is the Wanting Comes in Waves / Repaid, because again I love that melody and I think it's the greatest thing about the album musically.
Yeah.
It just touches me the best place ever.
Yeah.
But my top song, in all honesty, is the Rake song.
Really?
Because melodically, it's really great. Thematically, it's very interesting. And in the context of the whole album, it makes sense.
It kind of frames it.
You don't need to listen to the whole album front to back to listen to this song, okay?
Okay. I get that.
All right. So, what do I rate this album in total? Let me think. Out of 5?
Out of 5, yeah.
4 or 5. 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. Wow.
So, while it is behind every other Blink-182 album, it's still rated very high. Because as we all know, I'm not alone in this. Most of the people agree.
Is every Blink album 5 out of 5?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I'm not joking.
I know you're not. That's why I'm laughing.
There's nothing humorous about this, dude.
It's very humorous. Anyway, now that Steve is done talking about his album that I hadn't listened to, I am going to talk about the album that he had me listen to, which was, the artist is Transit.
From Massachusetts, more specifically, Boston.
From Boston. I had no idea about that. Anyway, the album is called Joyride. Now, when I first heard this album, I did not really like it that much. The songs were kind of boring and like I didn't really get it. But then, as has happened with many other albums that we listened to on this podcast, I started listening to it and I came around, and it is a fantastic album. This album is just so good. So usually Steve recommends me punk rock albums to listen to. So when he recommended me this album by Transit, I was expecting the same type of thing, like more punk rock, more like, super fast beats, not super poppy, not super, like not super lighthearted, not lighthearted, but, not really intense in a way. But as I found out, this album is the complete opposite. It's very poppy.
It's surprising for an album I would recommend.
Exactly.
And I know you say you didn't like it up front, right?
Yes.
I was the same way. Transit's an interesting band for me. The first song I ever heard was... Sorry to sidetrack this,
Yeah.
but I want to go into my background so you can kind of explain
Okay.
more.
Yeah.
Because like Jesse was saying, I recommend more punk rock albums,
Yep.
and this isn't. My very good friend, Daniela...
Well, not Escamilla anymore.
No, she's married to Ben now.
Yeah.
But she recommend... no, she didn't recommend. That's a bad word. She played for me a song called Young New England.
Was that by Transit?
Yes. It's a... If you're too drunk to walk along the streets of
Oh, yeah,
cobblestone,
yeah.
you
Yep,
know
I know
that
that song. Yep.
And that song really resonated with me. Not for those lines, but for a lot of lines in the song. Just got up. That there's people always there to be with you. You're not alone. And so that was my song. That's what I knew from Transit. And I really didn't delve into their music for a while after college. And then I knew they were coming to the Warped Tour, so I started to listen to them a lot. And I knew some of the things off of Joyride. And I think it had just come out before the Warped Tour, but I didn't buy it yet. And I saw them live twice, and I heard a lot of the songs off of Joyride, and I thought they were great. So I bought Joyride.
Yeah.
The first time I heard it, the first 3 songs were great, and then the rest of the album I was like, it's okay. It's okay. It's really just okay.
Yeah.
And then after a second, third, fourth, fifth listen, it really, really moved up higher and higher and higher every listen until it was one of my favorite albums.
Yeah. See, what kind of happens? What kind of happened with me with this album is that actually pretty much the exact same thing. I listened to the first 3 songs and I was like, oh, nice, this is great. And then like the rest of them were kind of like, meh. But then as you listen to it, you like kind of remember things, like you just kind of like you remember, oh yeah, this song's next, and it's just gets catchier and catchier. So why don't we just start off with the first track?
Okay.
The first track is The Only One.
They start off real slow on the drums, if I'm not correct. I'm not mistaken, right?
You are not correct.
If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean,
I'm not mistaken.
yeah, okay, slow. Yeah, it is slow. Yeah,
It's on the drums though.
Yeah, it's on the drums.
That's what all
Yep.
I meant.
What did I say first? Nice drums at the beginning.
Yes.
And then the melodies are all great.
Yes, I
The
agree.
choruses are all catchy.
They're all great and catchy, he says.
Some of them are less catchy than others.
It happens. Even the Beatles fell prey to that.
True. But I just want to say this. Melody's great. Instrumentally it's great. Like it's a solid album. Just want to get that out there before we start getting into it. So, the first track, The Only One. Nice drums. There's a really cool line in this song that I love. He says, "Heaven is what you make it. Hell is what you put me through."
Uh-huh.
That
is actually... That's one of my favorite lines on there.
Yeah.
It's a cool line.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And like that comes back throughout the whole song, and whenever he sings it, I'm always like, yeah.
And I don't know if you
my
made
face to
mention
it.
of this, but what I noticed about this song is it's not really like a happy, like expressive song in the verses, and then when you get to the chorus, that's when they kind of put out the major, like the
Yeah, that's
now you know the story before you tell me what
Yeah.
I know. That's where the big parts of
I'm
the song
not
come.
the only one. Yeah.
It's not a really happy subject matter, but
No.
that's when it comes to the more memorable portions of the song, even though
In
my
fact-
favorite line is from the verse.
In fact, that's what at the end of this,
Whoa, that was a good one.
that's what I wrote. I was like, very poppy, but not exactly the most happy subject matter for most of it. We're Johnny Taylor's beer again.
Yeah. All right, song number 2.
So, okay.
I won't push you along.
No, it's fine. We need to get moving.
I know we're really far. This is a really long podcast so far. Haha.
Well, I mean, I kind of gave you a dense album.
Yeah. Good burp.
Number 12 for me.
I'm gonna catch up to you.
Number 13 for
come
me.
on.
Anyway, track number 2. We're still on track number 2.
Well, we just started.
Yes. Well, first of all, I gave track number 1
Oh, for me.
4.5 out of 5. Super catchy. Awesome.
catchy.
Awesome way to start the album. Track number 2 is called Saturday Sunday. Like I said before, like every single one of their songs are super catchy on this album. Like they start off with a really great catchy guitar line in the intro.
Can I do a quick grass?
Sure. You can grasp quickly.
I'm gonna grass real quickly. So
Yeah,
my little cousin Corey came to visit me in Nashville, and we were going to go canoeing on the lake.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Ooh,
good burp.
Crap, you're ahead of me.
You're welcome.
Okay, keep going.
So, not sorry.
15.
I had the album. It was fresh. I put it in the car, and we drove to the lake. And I've listened to this album so many times since then. But literally every time I put it on, I think of when I think of this album, I think of driving down over top of the dam near where I live,
Percy Priest.
in 95-degree weather with the windows down, listening to this album in the middle of summer.
Yeah, so it was
Joyride.
It's
called Joyride, and that's what I was doing when I listened to it.
So it was a great suggestion. Now that it's the winter time. Oh. Well, it still was very good. Anyway, we're still on track 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I've already said super catchy guitar in track 2. And it seems like a lot of the songs on this album have kind of a similar feel, dealing with relationships in a way, or something of a rough patch in your life. Would you agree?
I would agree, yes.
Okay. So
based on lyrical content, yes.
Yeah, so this song, Saturday Sunday, which I almost put in my top 3. It was very difficult to choose a top 3 for this album, because they're all really good.
Correct.
This song, Saturday Sunday, one of the lines in it, it's just another slow Saturday Sunday. It gets better, I hope it gets better. So, like, the whole idea behind that is that, like, it's just another weekend, like, it's just another couple days, like, hopefully it gets better over time.
Yeah, because when you associate weekdays, you kind of think...
But, I mean, he says weekends for a reason.
I know, but when you think of weekdays, you think something that drags on, something repetitive, something boring, something that you really don't want to be involved with.
So if Saturday and Sunday are slow, then how bad is it? I mean, it's very, very, very interesting. So, anyway, I give that song a 4 out of 5. Now, track 3, one of the best tracks in the album.
And I agree, this is my hands down favorite song of the entire album.
Yeah.
From the beginning, drum tom section, to the end, seconds.
Yes.
I air drum this song till I die.
This song is called Rest to Get Better. And the first thing I wrote about it says, so catchy! Exclamation point.
You know the first thing that I would think of when this song is?
What?
The best! And catchy.
And I also think that this is probably one of the best choruses on the whole album too.
Oh yes,
One of the best.
Oh, you give me your description first before I put some input in.
About this song?
Yes.
That's about it. I mean, it's a song about finding peace, like trying to find rest within whatever he's going through.
Yeah, but I really like the melodies and the lyrics and the verses. You think you get honest, you only get meaner.
You think you get better, you only break cleaner.
And so it's someone who's trying to get out of a relationship.
Maybe I'll find peace.
You think you're going to break out of a relationship, but you're just getting meaner. You're not saying things that are better. You're just being meaner. You're just kind of like bringing up sore wounds and shoving it in someone's face instead of... I don't know. I really love the lyrics in this song.
Yeah.
And I love the drums and the verse and the chorus. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my heart.
What did you give this rating?
5 out of 5.
Okay, Jesse gave it a 5 out of 5, which is pretty good. What do I give it? 10 out of 5.
Wow.
So,
whoa.
who gave it the better rating? Me.
Well, technically, I did, but
No, you gave it 100%. I gave it a 200%?
no. 10 out of 5 isn't even a reasonable score. But anyway, next track. We got to keep moving here.
Yes, we do. This podcast is really going long.
That's okay though.
Sweet Resistance, track number 4?
Sweet Resistance. I think that this is a breakup song.
I think most of them are.
Mainly because of the one line that he says. He says, "You'll find pieces of me in everyone you'll ever meet." So like he's saying, like, listen, you have me right now, but like you're gonna find me in every single person, like no matter what happens. And so, I give it a 4 out of 5. I'm gonna keep moving. It's
all right. I get
I said before. It's catchy, melody's great.
And I put that in the top 5 songs melody wise in this album because Sweet Resistance just has it's a killer melody. Let's be honest.
Sweet resistance. Yes. Yep. The next song is called "Nothing Left to Lose." Now this song is way more poppy. Like it's the first super poppy song you hear on the album. Oh, there you go.
You're welcome.
It seems like it's a song about being free of all like preconceived notions about who you're supposed to be. This is the "Happy Birthday Me." So the chorus is, "Let's go and bury our conditions, sex and alcohol and and songs with our friends."
Yes. Yeah.
So like it's just saying
trying
like,
to bury everything that you really believe in
and just
superficial things.
Yeah. And
that
so,
still have meaning, but are kind of not the biggest focus.
Yeah. So like it's also there are woes in this song.
There are woes.
Oh.
It's a very Billy Joel or Offspring type thing to do of your songs.
Yes.
Whoa, or Backstreet Boys. We like Backstreet Boys. You are my fire.
We shouldn't try that. So yep, the woes and Nothing Left to Lose.
You get it on 4 to 5. Which is a good rating. Good rating.
Ignition and Friction.
Mm-hmm.
I gave the song 3.75 out of 5. I love the chorus. Super good. But the verses are not my favorite. Just in terms of melody. It seems like it's just kind of a song about conflict. And how it's kind of hard to deal with it. Overall, though, the verses are not my favorite.
All right, I'll let that slide.
In terms of melody, like lyrically, they're fine, but
yeah.
Anyway, on to track 7.
I'm a burp king.
On to track 7. The song's called "Fine by Me."
It's fine by me.
We can go anywhere. That's the one line that I like. Making futures without fear.
Yeah.
That's a really cool line, I think. I think they have a lot of cool lines.
This song doesn't do much for me, though.
Same. That's why I gave it 3 out of 5.
All right, so we're on the same page there.
I said it's my least favorite chorus.
But it's still a good song. It's not bad.
It's not...
It doesn't really stick out to me
The problem that I
all.
had with it is it's not as intense as the other songs.
Okay, I get that.
Like, it's still a good song, but it's not exactly my favorite song.
Yeah, I agree. I'll still listen to the song, and when I put the album on, I'm going to hear it, and I'm going to appreciate it, but it's really not my favorite, and it doesn't really stick out any more than any other song.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote, like, it's not the same intensity as a song, but I still like it.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Let's just move on to track number 8.
Loneliness Burns.
This is keys driven, right?
Yeah. Pianos to start.
Oh,
musically,
so there you go.
Musically different. So, piano to start. Really great bass line. Uh-huh. This whole song kind of changes the entire timbre of the album. Like from before this, it's always been like super, like guitar driven, upbeat, and now it's kind of slower. And there's also another really cool line in this song that I really like. What the Steve?
I'm
stop.
sorry. I'm belch crazy right now.
You're Belch King right now.
Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway, so the one line I really like in this song is I miss the scraping sounds of your windshield wipers. Gosh,
Sorry.
I'm trying to talk about this album. Stop burping. Steve,
I'm sorry.
Dude, you're gonna destroy me in the burp tally today.
I'm going belch crazy. I'm sorry. I guess that my beer was actually more carbonated than the Death by Coconut.
It might be, yeah. But anyway, don't you like that song though? I mean
do,
that lyric. I miss the scraping sounds of your windshield wipers. And then in the bridge, he talks about. He says, "Don't drink away the drive."
Yes.
Now, is that just like driving, or is that like drive as in to move on?
Oh, he doesn't mean driving a car.
He means drive to move on from the relationship,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Well, he does not mean a car. And
Don't dwell in the past,
yes.
pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, and so
Good picking up on that because I agree with you 100%.
yeah, I really really like that song, and it almost made it to my top 3 because it's super good.
Yeah, I agree.
Track 9.
But number 9 would actually be in the top 3 for me.
Same for me. That's why I have a star right here.
The Wurlitzer or whatever that key
Summer
is.
Dust,
It's,
yeah.
It's Wurlitzer in the beginning, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's just I get the feels in the back of my neck when I hear this song.
This song is also super poppy.
Just like a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this song.
Da 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 da. You're just the pieces I'm picking up. You're just the pieces I'm picking up.
Picking up.
Yeah. And I also wrote best chorus. One of the best choruses.
Let go.
Yeah,
The melody,
mainly because-
the drums.
Yes, exactly.
And that U2.
Yeah, the U2
Delay
type of delay guitar, yeah.
I'm not a person who knows much about delay, but when I hear it, I can appreciate it a lot.
But yeah, because it's
And they do
it's
it
just
well
like,
here.
Let it go.
Yes.
Because
I've heard bands that overuse delay.
Yeah, and this is
It's
super
just-
super tasteful.
And they don't have delay much on the rest of this album, correct?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Whenever
this is the delay heavy song.
listen, the first time I heard this song, I was like, whoa, delay.
Whoa, burp for me.
I was like, what? Delay is on this album?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
so
heard it.
yeah. That's why I gave this 5 out of 5.
I'm belching everywhere, sorry.
So, track number 10, we're almost there. Too Little Too Late.
Oh, this is another super catchy song.
It's very catchy, however, I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Ooh, I would disagree. I'd put it higher, but
Because
tell me why. This is your review.
same reasoning as track number 7. It's not as intense and like I just don't find it as intense as the other songs. This is a song about thinking you'll be alone forever because you'll never be right for anybody, essentially. Because whenever I met you, it was too little too late. However, very, very good bridge in this song.
What's the bridge? I'm trying to remember it.
Too little too late, too little too late.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So like it's a super good bridge.
Take me back to the place
But-
where
and-
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I gave it a kind of a poor rating,
Yes.
there was a really good line from it. He says, "Was I your favorite record, or just a song inside your head?"
Okay, I like that. Actually.
So,
I
right,
remember
yeah.
that. I forgot about that, but
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So like even though I gave the song, it's kind of like like average compared to the rest of the songs. That's a really good line from it though. The next song is called "Pins and Needles." Track 11.
Oh, this is a good song.
Mhm.
Really good song.
I give this song a 4 out of 5.
Okay, I agree with you there.
I said it's catchy, which is same with all the other songs. It seems like it's about some type of a kind of rough patch in a relationship because of the lyric when he says dancing on love pins and needles.
Yes.
Yeah. So it seems like it's a common theme throughout the whole album is that it's kind of dealing with a rough
Walking
patch.
on dangerous territory.
Yeah, or
Places
just like
where that are gonna, if you walk somewhere, it's gonna hurt someone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's one for me. There's another one for me.
Oh, you're crazy.
There's
Oh
one
my
for me.
goodness! Stop your belches.
Hey, you're still ahead of me.
Quelch the belch.
Quelch the belch.
All right, that's another Brews and Tunes first. Quelch the belch.
Hashtag quelch your belch.
Yes. All right, move on.
Yes. The next song is called Follow Me. Ooh, burp again. Which I think, personally, is a fantastic album ender.
Mm-hmm.
This song. It's, apart from the entire album, it is a completely different feel musically. Like, it starts off with an acoustic guitar. And of course, the last line. Well, actually, no. Let me begin with a different line. There are a couple lines through the song that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, so this song, Follow Me, he's talking about, like, leaving a girl that he kind of likes.
Yeah.
But he's like, this is it. If you want to be lovesick and lonely, like, I'm gonna leave.
Yes. Love, sick and lonely. I remember the line.
I'm gonna
yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
And so one of the lines that I really really liked is called he says, holding your drink like it's killing you slowly. I just like that line in general because I always pick, like, if you're like on a date or something like that and you're just like having a drink and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like,
you have to rely on the drink.
oh my gosh, this is terrible.
You rely on your drink to get you through a date, right?
Yeah, it's like holding your drink like it's killing you slowly.
You're not invested in the date. You need to rely on your drink to carry you through just so you can move on and forget about it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
But then, it's like, I like that line. But then the killer line at the end is when he says, this is my love song and this is how it ends. And then boom, the album's done. I guess what he's saying is, like, this entire album, this entire past album about past relationships, about whatever else, like, this whole album is my love song, and this is how it ends, and then it's done.
Correct.
So I just thought that was a really good album ender.
I agree. I think
I'd probably give that a 4.
They chose that.
I didn't rate it, but I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Overall, what do you think about the album?
Overall, I thought it was a fantastic album. 4.5 out of 5.
And
definitely.
Like he said before, this is the kind of album where you might listen to it and think, you might take the album at first listen and say, it's okay.
Yep. That's exactly what I did.
But I promise you, if you give it a couple more listens, you will really fall in love with it.
Oh, yeah.
The melodies are universal. The themes are really relatable. It's so ridiculously good.
And like Steve said, just picture driving down a sunny road, going to the lake in a truck.
It didn't happen.
And this is the album like you want to listen to during that time.
Yes, this is a great summer album. So, since I gave you a pop punk album the past couple weeks, I'll change it up this week, all right? Here's what I recommend for you for the next upcoming week.
Okay.
Something that's near and dear to my heart, what I would call the best band in the entire world, Blink 182, their hit 1997 album, Dude Ranch. This is what catapulted them into spotlight. Not what made them famous, but what catapulted them into spotlight, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
This album did not have them on repeat on MTV.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
But this got them noticed.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend for me?
Awesome. Yes. I can't wait to listen to that.
Oh, I can't wait for you to listen to it.
I mean, since I met Steve, I've listened to way more Blink-182. But I still have not listened to full albums by them. So, this will be
missing
good.
out, dude. You're really missing out.
Anyway, the album that I'm going to recommend for Steve is going to be a little bit less dense than the Decemberists.
Praise the Lord.
What you listened to before, the Shins, James Mercer is the lead singer for that group as well.
With Deadmau5?
With Deadmau5, yes.
Okay, correct.
I believe it's Deadmau5.
All right.
Pretty sure. Well,
I
anyway.
think that was my last burp for the podcast.
You know what? Let's count.
I think
up
it's time
this,
to sign off.
Let's count up this burp tally real quick.
Yeah, let's do the burp tally.
Okay.
So how much
Steve,
do I have?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,
34.
34
That's a
burps
lot of
tonight.
belches.
It's pretty good. 5 for me, Jesse. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
That's pretty
Well,
close, but
You beat me in burps this time.
in the end, I think it was because the Imperial IPA, it must not have hit me.
It hit you late. It was a slow. It was a gradual
The carbonation?
carbonation.
I have no idea. I don't really know why it affected me later than earlier.
I have no idea either.
Who knows? Beer is an interesting thing. I don't know.
It's an enigma.
Nick.
It's an enigma. Oh, that doesn't count.
I know it doesn't. We already counted.
Anyway, Steve is going to listen to the self-titled album Broken Bells by The Broken Bells.
Jesse is going to listen to Dude Ranch by Blink 182, my absolute favorite band of all time.
Anyway.
And let us sign off with our saying, which is...
Shibbidi-bidi-bow!
This has been Brews and Tunes. I'm Steven Johnston.
And I am Jesse Titus.
Saying
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Till next time.
And cheers.
And blah, 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 blah.